Can you hear me all right? Great. Hello, my name's Tim Noakes. I'm the editor-in-chief of Dazed and Confused magazine and dazeddigital.com. Thanks to this nice app for inviting me tonight. It's good to see such a great turnout. I just thought I'd give you a bit of a background on what Dazed is, because some people I meet have no idea what it is, and some people, go crazy and know, wow, my God, you work for Dazed. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a background to what it is. So Dazed is, in short, well, what I tell advertisers at least, is the most influential independent fashion and youth culture movement in the world. That's not hyperbole, I promise. It was set up nearly 24 years ago by Jefferson Hack and Rankin, the photographer, while they were still students at LCP, which is an amazing achievement. They actually were at the forefront of the desktop publishing revolution in the early 90s. And, in conjunction with a successive team of visionary writers, editors, stylists, photographers, Dazed has established itself as one of the world's leading independent style titles in the world. It's always been at the forefront of breaking new talent. That's what we pride ourselves on. It's identifying and the emerging talent that's really going to change pop culture, fashion, and it's going to be the people that you're listening to next year. Over the years, we've kind of been instrumental in launching the careers of people like Alexander McQueen, the Chapman Brothers, Lana Del Rey, the XX, Odd Future, ASAP, DeAntwoord, so on and so on. It's a long list, and I'm very proud to be part of that lineage, because we don't actually know what we're doing half the time. Dazed has survived and even thrived by doing the things that Creative Britain is good at, as The Observer said to me. But I think, for me, it's quite an interesting journey that I've been on personally, because like Caroline said in the intro, I started as an intern there when I was still at college down the road on Brick Lane. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I thought I was going to be a rap producer. I thought I was going to be the next Dr. Dre. Obviously, I've got the look for it. But then, I sent off like this is actually kind of pre-internet, and kind of, that's how old I am. But I sent off loads of kind of application letters to everyone I thought of, because I had to do kind of a print product placement. And I just got refusal letters, you're not experienced enough, you don't know what you're talking about, we need people from Cambridge, we need, whatever. And Dazed was one of the only people who said, yeah, come in and have a chat to us. So I got in there, and kind of I stayed there. I just didn't leave. And I just found out that there was this place that you could kind of get sent free music and get paid for it, and also go and interview some of the biggest stars in the world. So I was like, that's a job, that's amazing. So I kind of stuck with it and kind of really learned on the job, and really kind of found like a place that really, I don't know, just had this kind of really independent, anarchic spirit that really tied into me as an outsider. I was a skater, I hated school, and this seemed to be something that just really resonated with me. So I've worked my way up, and it's taken a while, but it's been an amazing journey, and kind of the last few years of Dazed has been the most transformative in its history. Last Thursday, we actually launched our spring issue, which is our extreme issue, which I've put a few out there, so you can go and home and have a read of it, with Yolandi Visser from DeAntwoord, again, a huge internet star, a burgeoning fashion icon. And for every issue launch, we kind of tend to do a big moment. So the last one, we had Kendall Jenner on the cover, and we did this kind of big film about her burn book, and she was addressing all the haters. And it went out there, and it had like 3 million views within a couple of days, and just drove people back to our website, created buzz. And it's just you need something like that in this day and age of print publishing to really get people excited about your product. For this one, It came out last Thursday, and because it's all about extreme characters, I thought instead of doing a film, I'm just going to put up an exclusive print feature from the magazine. So I decided to upload my interview with Marilyn Manson, the Antichrist superstar. And, you know, the interview itself is quite, interesting. We talked about kind of love, heartbreak, porn. He also told me to fuck off. He called me a cunt and threatened to put a gun in my mouth. And, but most importantly, he put it on his Facebook channel, and, that went out to 6.9 million people. And in the space of 3 days, that one piece of content on our website was seen by 200,000 people, uniques, had over 30,000 Facebook likes, went on all the, Pinterest, Instagram, so on and so forth. I guess that's the first rule of publishing, is kind of put your life on the line for the likes. But not really. I mean, it's just kind of, you really got to work with the people you profile to help believe in what you're doing. I've never really, at Days, we never really see us as just kind of, hey, let's talk about your album, let's put it out there. I don't really care about that. I'd rather talk about the person who makes it, or kind of the life behind it. And all the people that we profile in the magazine, on the website, have that kind of ethos as well. And so a lot of them, even if they want to put a gun in your mouth, they're kind of like happy to kind of support what you do. So if any of you out there are trying to publish your own magazines, please just make sure when you're profiling people, don't compromise your journalistic sensibilities, but make sure that they believe in what you're doing. So you can also, because if they get more publicity, they're going to sell X amount of whatever. So it all works out for everyone. So I definitely think that's been a big kind of evolution for us. A year ago, that kind of reach would have been unthinkable. No, 2 years ago even. Because when I took over as editor-in-chief at Dazed, it kind of, stagnated a little bit. There'd been, there was tough times for the print industry, as Steve was saying. It's kind of like people bemoaning the death of print. Is print dead? It's not dead at all, but whether people are going to buy a magazine every month is a different matter. So what we did with the publishers, we really looked at kind of what does it mean to be a magazine in this day and age? What do people want? Do you actually go out there and buy as many magazines as you did? You probably don't. You probably look at it mostly on your phones, on your website, through Facebook, so on and so forth. I kind of got in there and spent like 6 months really stripping it back to the bone, starting from scratch. It was a great opportunity for me to actually look at the team and kind of really pick people who are the best in their field, diverse talents from very different backgrounds, very opinionated, never agree with me or anyone else. But that's what makes it. It's a creative boiling pot. It's like you need that kind of creative conflict to make the best product. So I put together a team. I unified the print and the digital teams, because for 3-4 years up until that point, they'd been treated as very distinct entities, which is a massive fail in my book. So unified it, believed, it's one editorial team, one message. We're a digital-first publisher with an amazing magazine. So we adapted to the changing readers' habits. As you can see, we took the print frequency down from monthly to 6 issues a year, made it seasonal to hit the fashion weeks, and obviously appeals to advertisers. We managed to reinvest that money into making a better product. As you can see, some of the magazines that you got tonight, it's a very premium product. It's thick, it's consistently the same size, whereas beforehand it would kind of fluctuate. And it gives pages to the best photographers in the world to show what they're the best at, and stylists. This is the place to go if you want to be taken seriously in the fashion industry. So the magazine took on a lot more of a fashion focus, and then I also managed to get that money and invest in more staff for Days Digital. And then for that, I kind of, with the team, managed to grow the site to whereas before once it was seen as you maybe go there once a week, probably once a month to kind of see what kind of stuff we were talking about. But that was no good. You can't adapt. You got to adapt or die. And basically, so we changed it. We integrated. We got a news team, 2 very talented news writers, and we upload currently at least 15 pieces of new content a day. Today, I think we hit 22 because it's London Fashion Week. But that's the point. You need to be in that discussion. If you're not in a daily discussion, you're nowhere. So you need to be in it. So that's been one of the biggest turning points in the kind of focus of Days publishing over the last 2 years, kind of changing it from a kind of a monthly kind of print focus to being digital first, making news a priority, but not neglecting the fact of what you can do as a publisher on different mediums. Here's some lovely stats I get quoted every day by my team. As you can see, we've got huge social reach. That's our readership up there. It's 18 to 34. A lot of people are surprised that our readership is 65% female and 35% male, which is great because kind of that is the kind of demographic that we really aim for. It's the perfect kind of mix as far as I'm concerned. And then what is very important to me, like I said with the Marilyn Manson example, is that our content is optimized for sharing, because it's about personal recommendations. That's what Days is about. It's about curation. It's about personal recommendations. It goes to the ethos of what we're all about. So I'd rather get one of you recommending an article rather than kind of Google pushing it at you and just saying, okay, this is just something you need to read. So our news kind of proposition, I call it a daily dose of cultural anarchy. And, it covers so many different things, but what I really like about what we do is that we actively engage with our readers and their interests and champion causes that are really key to them. And some of the foundations of what we've seen is very key to today's youth culture is LGBT rights, it is women's rights, it's multiculturalism, and fears about surveillance society, and ultimately the freedom of expression. So these things we get behind actively and support them. When Putin was kicking up about LGBT rights at the Winter Olympics, we went for him. You've got to stand for something. If you don't stand for anything, it's just, what are you doing as a publisher? And then, obviously, on the days that we're not kind of trying to topple, Russian oligarchs, we're kind of trying to kind of just comment and get in the discussion with an original point of view. Because at the end of the day, you need an original point of view with whatever you're doing. However you kind of publish, however you kind of write, if you're bloggers, if you're a photographer, just get an original point of view, because that is the foundation of any successful project. It is Fashion Week at the moment, and we've really kind of made massive inroads on that. Our show reports are live within 4 hours. We've got some of the best experimental and strong backstage imagery on the internet. And I held a review of the site at the beginning of the year, because, like I said, you need to keep switching it up. You can't just rest on your laurels. And I wanted to look at what was really working with the website and how we could make it better. And one of the things was we needed more opinion when it came to fashion. It's one thing kind of going to, Marquis Almeida or Gareth Pugh, or it's fine saying what the clothes look like, but what are they saying? What are they saying to the people who actually invest in fashion, and the fans, what does it mean? And so, we've decided to conscientiously make a more opinion-led pieces about the state of fashion. And we did this piece. I'm not sure if any of you are fashion followers in here, but Rick Owens obviously sent a lot of guys down a runway a couple of weeks ago with their willies hanging out. And, we put up a comment piece about, why is that a taboo when you have, it's seen as kind of okay for women to kind of get their boobs out, but as soon as a man gets his schlong out, it's kind of like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. No, that's rubbish. Just like, no, you've got to take them to task. So, and that, by even having that opinion and just writing it in a way that engaged with our audience, had 2.1 million impressions on that. We live stream every major fashion show as well. A big thing that we've got also is video. We've expanded massively into video over the last year, and we give a platform to some of the leading auteurs in the world to use Dazed as a platform to show their kind of creativity. So people like James Franco, Vivienne Westwood, Bjork is upcoming, FKA Twigs has done one, so on and so forth. So it goes back to what I was saying. It's not just about reporting on new trends and just showing you what kind of new bands coming up. It's giving the artists who are creating that inspire our readers a platform to showcase original work, and we want to budget and pay for that because we want to be in the discussion with you. Obviously, you've got to pay for this somehow, and we found that advertising is still strong. It's very strong in the print sector, with fashion, high luxury fashion advertising is still very strong. It's growing in digital, but there's no real cash when it comes to banner advertising and so on and so forth. So we created a white label offshoot of Dazed, and this is to kind of create branded projects without editorial insight, to partner with brands to create new work that they couldn't get anywhere else. And so, we've worked with brands like Nike, Beats, Versace, All Saints, Diesel, and Samsung to create this. And so, to sum up, it's been an amazing kind of couple of years. It's, like I said, it's been the most transformative couple of years I've ever seen at Dazed. And so, if any of you out there are wanting to get into publishing or you are publishing, I think it's kind of, for me, you need to focus on getting the right team around you, whether that's just you and your mate. Just believe in each other, believe in what you're doing. Just focus on getting that team right. If you don't have the right team, you've got nothing. Always evolve and adapt to changing landscape of publishing. Don't rest on your laurels. Switch it up constantly. Just keep switching it up. Get into the daily news cycle. Make sure people have a reason to come back and see you every day. Just come back, check. Offer the artists a profile that they won't get anywhere else, a platform to showcase new work. Use your connections to get branded work. And most importantly, do everything you can to piss off Marilyn Manson. Thank you very much.